pricing. Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. I'm going to platform the conversation we've been having off TV because I think everyone wants to know where to get more where to get more fight.
You know what? Right now, I think a lot of my colleagues in general are like, we want to give you the best of what we've got, right? But the reality is that not all 215 of us are necessarily media darlings, right? And so it's just about understanding that we are one team, though, and we all have roles to play. And there are spaces in which I'm weaker and spaces in which I'm stronger. And I am trying to do my best in the space in which I typically shine, which is to be able to communicate in a very digestible, educational way. And it's a way of communication that I think we all need to adopt within the House. But there's just certain people, like I know I hear AOC's name all the time because she does have a way with communicating so that you don't have to have a PhD or so that you're not just like bored to death, right? She's got personality, but she also has the knowledge and she also knows how to make sure that anyone can understand.
I think it's also that you were in a state legislature in a super minority and you got on a plane and did something. And I think that Democrats are acting, I mean, Democrats lost an election by half a percentage point and they're acting like they got wiped out. What is that about?
I don't know, but they don't know nothing about my life. Because you're right, that's when we met, right? And it was this idea, it's like, wait a minute, what is happening? Why are those lawmakers like leaving the state legislature? And we didn't have the numbers, but we looked at what we did have. We had enough to be able to slow down the process. We had enough so that we could highlight what was going on. And we had enough to actually take off some of the harms of that legislation by just standing up and fighting. And so I don't know another way. I mean, I've always been in a triple minority where I came from, but I never had a minority mindset. I had a majority winning mindset. And I think that that is the mindset that my colleagues do have in the House. It's just a matter of how are we going to effectuate this? Because our best way of stopping Trump is in the House. He's stuck in the White House for 4 years. God bless us all. And we know that the Senate map still isn't necessarily our strength in the next 2 years. But here it is. I can't even imagine 2 years. We haven't had 30 days, and I'm already tired of him and his nonsense. So for me, I want to focus on these special elections. I at least want to try. Listen, I don't win if I don't try. But if I try and I lose, at least I know I was giving my heart to try to make this world a better place before 2 years from now.
Tell us about the specials.
Yeah, so we've got a total of 3 special elections. We have one that will take place in New York. New York, are you listening? I hope so. Yes, so we need to make sure that Elise Stefanik, whenever she does get out of that race, or whenever she does formally announce that she's out, we need to try to take that seat. We also have the 2 special elections in Florida for Mike Walls as well as Matt Gaetz. Now, these are what most people will say are ruby red districts, and I won't disagree, but we saw what happened in Iowa in the special election for that state Senate seat that swung 27 points. I remember a time when people said, oh no, there's no way you can have 2 senators in the state of Georgia, but we did. I remember a time when there was a man by the name of Doug out of Alabama in a special election, and because things were so bad, we were able to take that seat. So I think that if there's any time for people to wake up, whether you're a farmer in those districts down in Florida that is being negatively impacted, whether it's because of the policies as it relates to USAID, or whether it's because of the immigration policies, because a lot of your workforce isn't showing up because they are afraid of what may happen to them down in Florida, we are here for you. We will listen to you, and if you still want Trump, just know he gonna be there. But you want him to have some extra check, and that's what we would get. Doesn't mean you're a Democrat, but it does mean that you are an American who wants to make sure that our democracy is preserved. And so I'm hoping and praying that a lot of people are waking up in those districts and they decide to do the right thing and vote for the Democratic opponents.
I have to sneak in a break, but I want to ask you about the ability to push back against Elon Musk and what are we calling it? Doggy?
It's doggy.
Dog, whatever. Congresswoman Crockett sticks around. We'll be right back.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that the Republicans believe our job is, because right now they have relinquished their constitutional duties over to an unelected bureaucrat, someone who no one went out to vote for.
Are you surprised by the prominence and the audacity of Elon Musk?
I am. I really am. I mean, he went from being the dork that was jumping around on stage to allegedly being this amazing genius that's going to save this entire country, the country that he wasn't born in, and a country that maybe he doesn't agree with the idea of a democratic republic, considering the fact that he may have been more so on the side of apartheid. So, like, yeah, I am shocked. And I'm also shocked that MAGA, who is clearly a cult, would allow somebody else to come in and do anything. Now, what we've seen, though, is that Donald Trump's approval ratings still supposedly are kind of either going up or holding, while Elon Musk is falling, right? So you've got the pushback of Steve Bannon. Like, the fact that I agree with him on anything in life really has me like, oh, yeah, we really are in the upside down right now. So I do think that there will be more hate that ends up being spewed towards him once people start to really wake up and realize, like, wait a minute, so you're telling me that I don't have any Social Security so that you could get an extra $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion in government contracts from my tax dollars, and or end up saving money on your taxes because you don't want to pay them, and I can't even find a job because we're headed towards a recession. That's what I want people to understand. I don't mean to be gloom and doom, but when you have somebody that is firing people from the 15th largest employer in the world, which is the federal government, and then when you are saying, let's kick out these amazing people that have actually contributed to our country in the form of building our homes, as you're complaining about the cost of homes. When you're talking about people that are going and working the farms, as you're complaining about the cost of food, as you're getting rid of people that are working on bird flu, and you're like, oopsie, didn't realize that's what you were doing. We are living with this incompetent administration that is literally driving us to a recession at warp speed. And all I can say is hold on to your money and make sure that you have a way to make money even if you lose your job, because there are people that believe that, oh, I don't work for the federal government, so I'm fine. But that's not the case. We just saw the Southwest Airlines did the biggest layoff that they have ever done in its entire existence. We continue to see private industries laying off. So many private companies rely on federal dollars.
What do you do when the Republicans are saying all of the quiet stuff out loud? You've got Tuberville saying that we just have to beg for carve-outs from the massive government cuts that Elon Musk is putting into place. Is that the new game? I mean, is that you have to go beg?
No, the divided states of America is where we live, right? We know that he was taunting the state of California when they had the fires. Thank goodness that we had allies that understand that all of the United States matter. And so we saw Canada come in, we saw Mexico come in. But the problem is that we have a president that is adversarial to states that don't vote for him. And so what some of these people fail to realize, down in Alabama, who's broke, down in Louisiana, who's broke. I can go through pretty much the entire South and tell you that they're broke, and they rely on a lot of welfare from the government. To be perfectly honest, it is tax dollars from these big blue states like New York. Yeah, they send a lot of money into taxes, and then broke states end up benefiting from it, and now they're about to find out. So we're in the find out phase, and you've got, the other senator from Alabama, she decided to weigh in as well, because the largest employer is University of Alabama. And guess what? They decided that they were going to cut all the research dollars. So research takes place at universities. So now you're going to have people in your already broke state that don't have jobs. The recession is coming. I told you here first.
What should Eric Adams do?
Listen, Eric is out for Eric right now, as far as I'm concerned. I think that this is about, what does the reputation need to be of Democrats in the state of New York, right? And so I think the question is more so, what is the governor going to do versus him? This is a guy that is trying to save his neck, and I don't know what I would do if I was potentially facing prison time. I don't know. I won't pretend to know. But I can tell you that there are other electeds that are in position that can make decisions, such as the governor. And I think that that is the bigger question is, what will the governor do? What makes most sense? Are we okay with the fact that there is a distraction from the real work that needs to be done on behalf of the people in the city of New York, and him and his issues are a distraction? He's got his top lieutenants that are resigning. We know that a number of people around him have already entered pleas of guilty. This may not necessarily be serving the people of the city of New York the best, and guess what? He's still on the ballot. So if they want to vote for him, they can.
Congresswoman, thank you for being here and fielding all of our questions today. It's great to see you. Another break for